Welcome to Lessons in Leadership. Steve Adubato with my colleague Mary Gamba. Mary, let me say this. I've had my Giants football here. The season's over for the Giants. We're doing this right before the Super Bowl. Be seen later. Our good friend Jonathan Pearson, who is the executive director of Horizon Foundation New Jersey, he's got a Jets helmet underneath him. Is that right, Jonathan? Do you have that?
Yes, I do, Steve. Absolutely.
What's the Jets connection? We're going to talk about nonprofit leadership in a second.
Sure.
What's the Jets connection?
Well, Jets are, another local team, so we got to root for both. You can't see my whole office, but I have other Giants stuff hanging around as well.
I bet you have Rutgers stuff hanging around.
Well, I got Notre Dame as well. So
Hey, Steve, I don't know. I feel like Lessons in Leadership is becoming more of a sports show than anything else. So I'm just going to roll with it.
That's what I've always wanted. All good. Jonathan Pearson, we kick off the program with Jonathan Pearson, the Executive Director of Horizon Foundation in New Jersey, part of our series on nonprofit leadership. Hey, John, how are we doing today?
Everything's great, Steve. Great day.
It is Absolutely. A great day. And it's also a great day to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Horizon Foundation. Give everyone a sense, John, of what the Horizon Foundation is and its impact on the community, particularly with not-for-profit organizations.
Yeah, it's great. So in 2004, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, our corporation's been around over 90 years, founded in the great city of Newark, New Jersey, created the foundation. The purpose is really to give back, serve others as the charitable giving arm of the company. And, over 20 years, we've invested almost $75 million to support nonprofits in New Jersey with a health focus and an arts and culture focus. So we've had terrific relationships statewide with many, many leading nonprofits, and essentially is to improve the quality of life here in the great state of New Jersey.
And along those lines, we're actually engaging in a series of they're not, I don't even know if I'd call them workshops or seminars. They're events that Horizon is sponsoring. They're conversations with not-for-profit leaders about leadership, about the challenges in the not-for-profit community. We're actually kicking it off with the CEO of Gary St. Hilaire, the CEO of Horizon, but with other not-for-profit leaders talking about their challenges, their need to innovate and pivot and stay in the game and raise money and business development. John, why are you and your colleagues hosting that series and that partnership together? Why is it so important?
Yeah, Steve, these forums are a way to really bring together all the thought leaders, all the important stakeholders throughout the state of New Jersey. And we want to make sure there's a conversation. Nonprofits coming through the pandemic, as you all know, have suffered financially, also in retaining talent and acquiring talent to run the organization. So these forums are a way to bring us together, to engage stakeholders, and we want to build, really authentic, mutually beneficial relationships on important topics, right? Things such as behavioral health and all the challenges that youth face, opioid and fentanyl issues in the state and around the country. We also want to talk about all the social determinants, things around food insecurity and other factors that really impact everyday individuals, particularly those that may live in rural or urban or other settings that are having a difficult time. So these nonprofits are certainly kind of the backbone of the New Jersey economy.
And along those lines, Mary, as you jump back in here, one of the most popular programs we did on our sister series, One-on-One, was an event. It was a filmed event at Rutgers and the Jersey Mike's Arena, right, John?
Yes.
With an extraordinary, not just an athlete who played for the Jets, and also Rutgers, Ray Lucas, who talked about his addiction to opioids. Those young people, they were high school students that Horizon got together for that event. They listened to him. They were engaged by him. His message was powerful. And that was a half-hour special. Check out steveadubato.org. Put in Ray Lucas's name. You'll see that interview. That was made possible by the folks at Horizon. And opioid addiction is only one area we were talking about. So go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, definitely. Jonathan, you were talking a little bit about behavioral health. I would love, that's a perfect segue. You teed it right up to talk about the partnership that the Horizon Foundation has with the Boys and Girls Clubs of New Jersey to address behavioral health and mental health in our young adults. Can you talk a little bit about that and why is that so important and needed right now?
Yeah, great, Mary. It's an incredibly important topic when you're talking about youth and adolescents, their behavioral health. challenges, whether it's anxiety, depression, suicide rates are significantly high in the state. So our program, it's really a national partnership. It's with Boys and Girls Clubs of America. It includes 28 Blue Cross Blue Shield companies, including Horizon. And our support is going to be over 4 years to address youth mental health, trauma-informed education and services. It will support all 22 clubs in the state of New Jersey and the 55,000 youth that they serve every day. So it's a 4-year initiative. We're excited to get it going. We're going to have a lot of interaction statewide with these organizations, with these leaders, to support them beyond our funding, beyond our grant, other ways we can get involved. Our employees are a big part of that through mentorship, through volunteerism, through service. So we're going to try to bring all the tools that we have at Horizon to really help lift up these youth that they're serving every day.
John, before I let you go, I'm curious about this. We may be doing one of these forums on leadership in the not-for-profit community, these leadership forums, as I said, with your CEO, Gary St. Hilaire. We may be doing it. I think it's possibly, Mary, we're doing it at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center?
It's one of the potential venues.
There's a reason why I mentioned that. It's because I was recently meeting with the CEO of, and John knows him very well, John Schreiber, the CEO of NJPAC, New Jersey Performing Arts Center, and Horizon has a relationship there as well. There's a question here. We're constantly collaborating, partnering, figuring out what we can do together. It's a theme on Lessons in Leadership, and it's about the fact that you can't, nor should you try to do it alone. How important are these partnerships and collaborations to doing something and having greater impact than Horizon could have alone, than we could have alone, than NJPAC could have alone, than the Boys and Girls Club could have alone? Am I overstating the importance of collaboration and partnership, John?
No, you're not, Steve, and it's certainly the most critical, I think, component of having positive impact. I talked a minute ago about mutually beneficial relationships. How do you bring all these different partners together? And it could be atypical partners. It may be organizations that are not nonprofits, but you bring to the dance and you have them participate and get a diverse set of ideas and perspectives. So we certainly embrace that, and we try to partner as much as we can. It's not easy. It's not easy work, and I'll just say that. Not because people don't want to work together, but it
different
takes a lot
cultures
to kind of move everyone in the same direction.
In different cultures, and you also have the partnership with Rutgers that we talked about before.
Yes.
And again, it's not that people, I won't get on my soapbox here, it's not that people don't want to do good things together, it's that there are different cultures, different leaders, different styles, different all kinds of things. But again, you can't do it alone. So in that spirit, we were excited about our series on not-for-profit leadership we're doing right here on Lessons in Leadership and Collaboration with support of the folks at Horizon. Jonathan Pearson, Executive Director of Horizon Foundation, New Jersey, celebrating 20 years of making a difference in the community, particularly with not-for-profits. Thank you, John. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Barry. Appreciate it.
Lessons in Leadership. Stay with us. We'll be right back. This edition of Lessons in Leadership is made possible by the Buccino Leadership Institute at Seton Hall University, Prager Metis, Valley Bank, the International Union of Operating Engineers Local 825, the North Ward Center, the New Jersey Sharing Network, the Helix, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Fedway Associates Inc., Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Veolia, Resourcing the World, Choose New Jersey, and Seton Hall University, showing the world what great minds can do since 1856.
This is Mary Gamba. If you want more leadership tips and tools, log on to stand-deliver.com. That's stand-deliver.com.
Promotional support for this edition of Lessons in Leadership with me, Steve Adubato, and my colleague Mary Gamba has been provided by NJ.com, NJBIA and New Jersey Business Magazine, CIANJ and Commerce Magazine, and the Meadowlands Chamber and Meadowlands Media. Welcome back to Lessons in Leadership. Steve Adubato, my colleague Mary Gamba. You will recognize the young man on camera. He is Rodger DeRose, President and CEO, Kessler Foundation. Rodger, I think Rodger has the record. It's 7 times on Lessons in Leadership, Mary.
I can't believe that you actually have a number. I know it's been a lot. I would have said maybe 10 times, but I would have Rodger on every single segment because he always has something new to share.
I had no idea, Mary and Steve. That's a long time. That's a lot of times. I'm surprised you invited me back, but it's always great to be with both of you and with your viewers.
Roger, let me say this, that honesty and having ethics are an important part of leadership. So let me just be super honest and disclose that I absolutely made up that number. I had no idea how many times you're on. I just said it because it sounded reasonable, but it's
It sounds
probably more like
reasonable.
10.
That's a good one, Steve. That's a good one.
I'm sorry. I'm like, who's going to question it? Okay, Roger, let's get serious for a second.
Sure.
For everyone, for those who don't know, and we'll put up the information about Kessler Foundation. The mission of Kessler Foundation is, pick it up from there.
Well, Steve, we're all about helping to change the lives of people with disabilities, and we do that through our research mission, and we focus on brain and spinal cord injury and stroke and MS and autism and several other neuromuscular conditions. And then we're also a grant maker to nonprofit organizations that are helping businesses create jobs and employment opportunities for people with disabilities to reintegrate them with the workplace, with the community, with the family.
Well said. And before Mary jumps back in here, because I know there's a whole range of things she wants to talk about, I want to do this. We've been partnering with Kessler Foundation for many years now. Rodger is a student of leadership. He's very focused on the coaching and mentoring and the developing of future leaders. And dare I call it succession. Okay, I'm going to put it that way, Rodger. We're actually, as we do this program in the next few weeks, we're kicking off what we're calling the Advanced Leadership Academy at Kessler Foundation, where some of your most talented leaders who have been through the Kessler Stand and Deliver Leadership Academy in the past, it's going to be more challenging. It's going to be some one-on-one coaching. Why do I say this? Because you had a big hand in selecting these people. Why are we saying if these leaders are already really good, why do they need to do more leadership development? And what does that have to do with succession planning and ascension to leadership positions at Kessler Foundation? Please, Rodger. I know it's a loaded question, but I've been thinking about this a lot. We're not the only ones who should be thinking about this. Go ahead.
Well, thanks, Steve. Yeah, these are the future leaders of the organization. We've put many of our people through the leadership program that you've held with our team members for the past 6 or 7 years. I guess that's why I've done 7 interviews with you, Steve.
Did you just make up that number, or is it? No, I'm only kidding. Go ahead.
But seriously, Steve, these are the handpicked people that you're really betting the future on, and you want to do everything that you can to retain the talent and give them the opportunities to grow in the organization. Not everybody will become the CEO of the organization, but they'll continue to grow in responsibility. And they're the ones that will bring innovation to the organization in terms of the type of research that they're conducting. And all of these individuals that are in the advanced program are from the research portion of our organization.
Mary, along those lines, Mary and I in our own organization are constantly telling people the best of the best on our team. We're trying to expand their portfolio, challenge them more. When people say, and I won't get on my soapbox here, when people say, I'm done, I'm where I need to be as a leader, that's when you know you have a problem. Fair to say, Mary?
Yeah, no, definitely fair to say. And Rodger, we talk about it all the time, the connection between leadership, innovation. You talked a little bit about innovating in terms of the services and how things change and the types of patients you're treating. Talk a little bit, though, how you can get buy-in from your team to be innovators, to be entrepreneurs within Kessler. How do you get that type of leadership? We talk about everyone is a leader. How do you get the people in your team to buy into that innovative culture?
You used the word entrepreneur, and I think to turn it inside, to be an intrapreneur in an organization, it takes a great deal of collaboration. I think many organizations get stuck in their silos, and one of the great things about our organization, and I think you and Steve sense it when you talk to our people, is that they're great collaborators, they're great partners, both inside the organization and outside the organization. So there's this openness to innovation where it doesn't have to come from just them, but it's really looking beyond them to try to make connections, to develop the next breakthrough that will help patients. And everything has to be patient-centric in terms of doing the type of research that we're conducting that is going to bring an ultimate benefit and improvement in the effectiveness of the treatments and the interventions that we're doing in the hospitals and in rehabilitation centers around the country and around the world.
Do us a favor, and Sylvester will do this, our great editor and post-production end. Let's make sure we put up the graphic for Kessler Foundation. If people want to find out more, if people want to contribute, if people want to be part of the important work that Kessler Foundation is doing, that's how you can do it. But I'm curious about something, Rodger. You and I have had 1 million offline, and 1 million is a bit of an exaggeration. I'm making up numbers. We've had a lot. We've had a lot, and a lot of luncheons with no wine. It's interesting. We do not drink, because we're trying to be very focused. But one of the things Rodger and I talk about all the time is, he used the word intrapreneur, entrepreneur. Mary raised the question, is everyone a leader? Which is a chapter in Lessons in Leadership 2.0, my new book, which I'm uncomfortable plugging. That was a joke, Rodger. So, Rodger, do you really believe that intrapreneurs, entrepreneurs, leaders, they're just who they are? They're born that way. It's in their DNA. Or can someone have some of that and we develop it and bring it out of them, and then they're just some are like, just tell me what to do?
Steve, it's a great question. And I know that people in business probably have 100 different answers for that. But I think you choose to be a leader. I don't think you're born to be a leader. And once you choose to be a leader and you watch others lead, you learn from those examples. And everyone has the opportunity to step up and decide to take that leadership role in the organization. I think that's the key, is that we expect individuals to lead, but they have to make that choice, and we expect that from them. And then it's our job, I believe, to do the very best that we can in training them and continuing to develop them so that they can fulfill the growth roles in the organization that they're asked to fulfill.
Well said. And Mary, choosing to be a leader. We also say choose your attitude. And one of my favorite, there's a bunch of playing cards, but Keith Harrell, the late Keith Harrell, wrote this book, Attitude is Everything. Get the book. It's on our website as one of our top 10 leadership books of all time. We often say choose your attitude, but Rodger said choose to be a leader. Mary, is that it? You choose?
I think you do. And working now for so many years with Rodger and his team, I mean, you can just see it and feel it, the passion that Rodger has, but you also see it and feel it in the people on his team as well. And I think a lot of that goes back to wellness. And I am using the word, I think, intentionally, Rodger, because I would love to get your perspective on the leadership wellness connection. How much of your positive attitude and your view on things and your team's view on things really goes back to each individual's focus on their own personal wellness?
I believe that that's such an important part of everyone's personal goals, Mary. And I think Steve knows that I embed that in my daily life in terms of being in the gym and
Rodger, how early?
Oh, I'm there early, Steve. I'm there when it opens. If it's 4:30, I'm there.
Mary, when Rodger and I were at the same gym here in our local town, he was leaving when I was barely getting in. Let me just see that. Go ahead, Rodger. Pick it up from there.
But I do think that that personal wellness element in every one of our leaders is so important, because it clears the mind. It gives you the ability to think on a continuum, I believe, rather than get wrapped up in circles in terms of making decisions. And it just clears the mind, I think, in addition to keeping yourself personally fit for the tough demands that the job requires. And it does require tough demands, no question about it.
And along those lines, the Advanced Leadership Academy at Kessler Foundation will, in fact, focus on what we like to call on the wellness leadership connection. And to Rodger's point, and he is obsessive in a good way, in a healthy way he's intentional, Mary, your word, about his own wellness. It's not enough. It's never enough that you say, well, I'm going to get enough sleep. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to have a healthy diet as best we can. It's you create a culture of wellness for your team. Do you
Right.
care about their well-being? It isn't who works out or who doesn't. Anyway, it's in the book. You'll get the book. You'll see it. To Rodger DeRose and the team at Kessler Foundation, I want to thank you for joining us once again. Rodger's been with us 17 times on lessons. Rodger, all I know is this: he'll keep coming back and sharing more wisdom. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Mary. Great to be with you and your viewers. Thanks so much.
Lessons in Leadership, which has been on the air for 22 years. No, it's been how many years, Mary?
Oh, now you're really putting me on the spot. I'll say 5 years.
All right, no joke. I'm not going to screw around with numbers. Mary, we are celebrating our anniversary. What is it? How many years?
So June 19th of this year, it's going to be our 24-year anniversary. That's something.
And never.
Work anniversary for anybody.
What are we, Joe? What are we, Mika Brzezinski and Joe Escarbo? No, we're not.
Oh my goodness gracious!
No.
It's been a good run.
Mary has a husband, Bill. I have a wife, Jennifer, and they're celebrating their 25th. No, I'm joking. We'll be back after this. This edition of Lessons in Leadership is made possible by the Buccino Leadership Institute at Seton Hall University, Prager Metis, Valley Bank, the International Union of Operating Engineers Local 825, the North Ward Center, the New Jersey Sharing Network, the Helix, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Fedway Associates Inc., Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Veolia, Resourcing the World, Choose New Jersey, and Seton Hall University, showing the world what great minds can do since 1856.
This is Mary Gamba. If you want more leadership tips and tools, log on to stand-deliver.com. That's stand-deliver.com.
All right, Lessons in Leadership. We have a few minutes, Mary, just to offer some perspective on some leadership issues. Mary, you and I had this conversation the other day, and I don't know if it was Rodger DeRose or who we just had on or someone else who said, title does not make you a leader. That's what I want to focus on right now. So as we tape this program at the end of January, it'll be seen later. There was a recent editorial in the Los Angeles Times, and I read a piece of this to you. I read a section to you recently, Mary, and it's a post-mortem, an analysis of the horrific Uvalde, Texas school shooting in which 19 children and 2 teachers were slaughtered in their classes. And the report, the analysis that was done, basically said that law, and listen, we're all pro law enforcement, particularly when they do the right thing, but the law enforcement professionals were pathetic, absolutely pathetic in terms of protecting those children and those teachers. And the conclusion of this report, this very objective, comprehensive report, which took a long time, was that there was, quote, no one in charge. Here's the irony. There are 400, Mary, 400 law enforcement professionals from 2 dozen agencies actually showed up. But for 77 minutes, no one did anything. 77 minutes passed before the gunman was killed. Here's the question. There was an official quarterback. There was an official ranking member of law enforcement who could not, would not, did not take charge. No one was in charge. And it was concluded that if action had been taken sooner, and trust me, I don't have the courage to be a cop. I'll admit it. But I heard my great friend Armando Fontoura, the sheriff in Essex County, say many times, when you're being sworn in to be a police officer, you have to accept the responsibility of moving into a building where there's danger. And if you can't and won't, you can't. You can't get the gun and badge. Translation. There was a leader in title, Mary, highest ranking law enforcement professional, but he kept telling people to hang back. And don't you think some of those law enforcement professionals wanted to go into the classroom and just, even if their life was on the line, try to save those kids and those teachers? But they didn't because of rank? What am I missing, Mary?
Yeah, no, I mean, as you said, it was a comprehensive, objective report. It is one of the most challenging things to even talk about because, as you said, you or I or anyone does not know what it's like in that situation, and you want to make the best decisions and to be in the mind of that leader who had the leader as title at that point. We don't know if he at that point thought he was making the right decision and being careful, right, to make sure to not put other people in harm's way. So you'll just never know where his mindset was.
Hold on, Mary, police policy says across the board that the best practice among a whole range of imperfect practices is to go in as quickly as possible to save those children. Yes, it was dangerous, but that's not, we're talk show people, we're journalists, we're broadcasters. They signed up for it. And all I'm saying is he was frozen. The
Yeah.
leader was frozen.
Yeah, and at
chose
that
not to
point,
act. Go ahead.
yeah, and at that point, you would hope that people around you would lift you up because we're all human beings at the end of the day.
Define lift you up.
That they would have said, listen, this is what we need to do right now. Taking no action is making a decision, right? Some people don't want to make a decision. Well, the decision to not make a decision, in essence, is making a decision. He needed somebody to step up and say, listen, if we don't do this, more people are going to die unnecessarily. And unfortunately, in that situation, you had too many cooks in the kitchen, and that didn't happen. And more lives were lost than needed to be lost.
Mary, again, military, paramilitary situations, and you understand this because of your husband's previous professional experience, and he understands law enforcement. Do you think the number of stripes on your arm, sergeant, lieutenant, chief, whatever, dictates whether people challenge the leader or not? Meaning, well, if you're the highest ranking law enforcement professional and you say we should stay here, I'm not going to challenge you. I can't. Yeah. That's what the unwritten code is. But then I'm saying, really?
Yeah.
Then how is everyone a leader?
Exactly. And it happens in business as well, right? How many businesses have failed because a leader said, hey, we're going to go in this direction? On this show, we've talked about Kodak. We talked about Blockbuster. We talked about BlackBerry. There was a leader in each of those situations who had to be the one that made those decisions to not pivot, to not innovate. So to really, take it full circle back to business and leadership, absolutely. You need to surround yourself with people on your team who are going to push back, who are going to question, not really question your authority, but also just hold up a mirror to say, hey, listen, is this the best course of action given everything we know right now? So that to me is what leadership is about. It's not about a title. It's about making sure to have people on your team who are confident, who are independent, who can think on their own. And sure, as the leader, you could still push back. But in that situation, unfortunately, it does not seem like he had those people to push back.
Do you think it's unfair of us as non-law enforcement professionals who talk and coach and write about leadership to analyze the lack of leadership in Uvalde? Do you think it's unfair?
I do believe it's unfair. I believe what is fair is that professional report that was done by people to help to avoid this happening in the future. What I don't like seeing is, again, we talk about Monday morning quarterbacking. So I do toe the line a little bit there because, like I said, unless you're in those shoes, unless you were there. So leaving it up to professionals to analyze what happened. So in the future, there'll be more of a direct chain of command and a protocol. To me, that's what's most important.
Mary and I see it differently. To me, you don't have to, well, we'll talk about that on another issue, another program. But Mary, I don't agree on everything. Mary Gamba, Steve Adubato for a great team at Lessons in Leadership. See you next time. This edition of Lessons in Leadership is made possible by the Buccino Leadership Institute at Seton Hall University, Prager Metis, Valley Bank, the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 825, the North Ward Center, the New Jersey Sharing Network, the Helix, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Fedway Associates Inc., Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Veolia, Resourcing the World, Choose New Jersey, and Seton Hall University, showing the world what great minds can do since 1856.
This is Mary Gamba. If you want more leadership tips and tools, log on to stand-deliver.com. That's stand-deliver.com.
Promotional support for this edition of Lessons in Leadership with me, Steve Adubato, and my colleague, Mary Gamba, has been provided by NJ.com, NJBIA and New Jersey Business Magazine, CIANJ and Commerce Magazine, and the Meadowlands Chamber and Meadowlands Media.